Good morning. Gosh, it's been windy here in Minnesota and rainy and ugh. I am uh sorry, I had something up that I wanted to read. So, let's see, where am I at? I am not yesterday, but Monday. Today's Wednesday. I brought my iPhone to Apple and got it reset. Like, I told them the story, and so they like canceled, whatever I had before to completely start over as far as like an account and stuff, and reset my phone like to the factory thing. So I am hoping that I will be able to use this phone, because for me, I have been working on an iPhone for so long that that it's just so much easier for me, even as far as like editing and stuff like that. If you don't know, the iPhone has free editing software. They have an app, it's called iMovie, and that's usually what I edit on. I just do simple edits, and I know it so well. The phone I'm on now, you have to pay for something. Like, I could use CapCut, which I think is similar to like iMovie, but I just am not used to this kind of phone. It's a whole different, it's an Android, it's not an iPhone. But anyway, that's where I'm at there. Tomorrow, I go to the Social Security office and hopefully get a new Social Security number. I'm at a new school today that I'm pairing at, substitute pairing. But I always leave early, so I had a couple minutes here to make a video. So I was thinking, listen, somebody wrote, and it's so nice. This person wrote to me that how they found my video was that they are studying. They're in their 50s and they're studying cybersecurity. I think it's something else, which is great because that's exactly what we need. People who know that kind of stuff. And because a couple people told me that they don't, he said he's canceled his subscription to Norton, because something about the gigahertz and they don't talk to something. you know, Thanks for the info, but it's like you're speaking Portuguese to me. And I don't understand gigahertz, terabytes, all that kind of stuff. I think when somebody knows something, and I've been guilty of this, and I think more like as makeup and stuff, like, oh, you put it here and that does this, and you just assume other people know. And especially something technical. I was thinking about this the other day. My first phone, you have to remember, my first jobs in the legal offices, after high school, I started working in legal offices right away. I was working on typewriters with whiteout and the copy paper behind it, or what do you call it? So that it copies things. I mean, I know some people can't even, mind blown, can't even imagine that there was never a computer or a smartphone. But, back in BC, that's what we did. We wrote letters by chiseling in stone, pretty much. So that's like when I started my work career, you could smoke in your office. There were people like sitting next to me, smoking. You could smoke in an airplane. They had the smoking section, or in a restaurant. In an airplane, how can you have a smoking section? It's a long tube. You can't really get away from the smoke. But those were the days that we lived in. I know, hard to believe, hard to believe. My first phone, I remember I worked at the law firm, and somebody came in. This is when it was all new, and they had a special for all of us because, if a lot of us bought them, then it cost less. It literally was in a case, and I had a Jeep Wrangler Laredo, and yeah, I felt so cool. I'd take the doors off, and I had a bikini top and a hard top and a soft top, um, and I remember, ooh, and then I got a phone, boy. Um, it came in a case like big. Okay, so you carry it for having it on my front seat, and you literally, it was a brick. That's what they call it. You take it out, and it was like this long, and you'd hold it, and then you'd have to take the antenna and pull it out. And I remember, driving down the street, like, I got a cell phone. It's like this big with an antenna that's this big sticking out the window, That was the first cell phones for us. I know it seems eons ago. Like if you didn't live in that era, you would never believe that that's what we lived through. And I walked uphill to school, there and back, 50 miles. But yeah, so if you didn't live with that, like learning little things along the way, that it's just not something you're interested in. I swear to you, I don't play video games, never play video games, don't like video games, don't like Vegas jamming, I don't play slot machines, I don't gamble, don't like games like that. I think the last game I played was Pong. Remember that? Doink, 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 And then those little handheld things, and they had little, it was like football, but they were just little lines. And you do that. Again, that was when that was all new. So I understand if you're in that era and people are talking about gigabytes, terabytes, stuff like that. You may as well be speaking Chinese to me because I don't understand it. But what I was thinking was, that joke, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Because it's so overwhelming that, you can't even imagine, learning all this. So I thought that maybe that like each video I would give, because I'm going to research this too. We're going to figure it out together. If I can keep my iPhone going without like stuff being taken over, then I'm going to get Wi-Fi next, get my Wi-Fi back in my home. And I need to know like how to change the password. Again, nobody ever told me that. I don't think anybody's ever told anybody that. Like when you're at the store and you get it, they don't say, oh, when you get home, make sure you change the password. And, the thing, how you write, like I'd put Tracey, how like when the networks come up, when you try and connect to a Wi-Fi, I think that's one of the things, because you don't want any identifying factors of whose it is. Pretty easy if they're trying to hack you, and they're like, and I'm sure that's what they did. I mean, I think I did have Tracey as it. You don't know. You're like, yeah, I just, I never thought of it. Never thought of it. Never was told to think about it. But unfortunately, going through what I have, that now I have to think about it. So that's what I thought, that little by little, I'll just give like, because stuff that I'll be researching to learn a little bit at a time, because it's too overwhelming to try and learn all this stuff. Again, coming from a typewriter with whiteout, I used to work in bankruptcy and it was called the Matrix, and you had to put all the creditors, and some people had, hundreds of creditors, and I would actually have to go through they'd just sometimes come in with all their bills and give them to me, and I would have to take each one out, and there were little boxes, and I'd have to put the paper over the boxes and make sure, because they wouldn't file it if you crossed over the box. So I'd have to put in the creditor name and the address and make sure I stayed in those little boxes. And again, if you made a mistake, you just backed up and used whiteout or whiteout tape, either the brushing kind. So this is where we're coming from to now AI, to where we're to. That's a huge, jump from where most of us have started from. And speaking of that, I wanted to tell you, I gotta go. But so there's a scam going around in the post office. I just saw this yesterday online. So I'm going to read this to you. USPS, the United States Postal Service, issues nationwide warning what to do if a mysterious package arrives on your doorstep. You think, oh, who sent me something? Who sent me something? Surprises can sometimes be a good thing, but if that surprise is an unexpected gift on your doorstep, today might not be your lucky day. In a new round of scamming, fraudsters are sending mysterious gifts to a target's house and using their personal information for fraudulent business reviews. The scam is known as an illegal brushing scam, a practice that is illegal in the U.S. and signals your personal information has been compromised, according to the United States Postal Office. Brushing scams typically involve international third-party sellers who find your address online and send you unsolicited merchandise, often items that are cheap to produce and ship. And listen, what I'm learning is most of this stuff is not from the US. It's from like Thailand. I was just reading another thing. And I'll talk about more scams coming up so that you're aware of what to be aware of. But most of it's like Thailand, the Philippines. And again, I was reading this article and they like post jobs that, oh, come work here, whatever. So, you're like, oh, I'm going to travel. The big thing is now to travel cross country and get a job and live as a nomad and stuff like that. And what it is then they have you there and they keep you as a slave and make you work for 12 hours a day doing this kind of stuff to people. Beware. The intention is to give impression that the recipient is a verified buyer who has written positive online reviews of the merchandise, meaning they write a fake review in your name. According to the United States Postal Service, these fake reviews boost or inflate the product's ratings and sales numbers, which they hope result in an increase of actual sales in the long run. But it doesn't stop there. It's double E. Fraud. Another version of this scam is quishing, Quishing, scam tactics, and incorporates QR code phishing. And I know this too. Never do a QR code because it gets into your phone. Packages may contain cards with QR codes that, when scanned, lead to fake websites designed to look like legitimate banks or government organizations. These sites are used by criminals to steal your personal identifiable information. The USPS warns receiving these packages means your personal information was likely obtained through illicit means and could be used for other scams. These fake reviews can also trick others into purchasing worthless products. In other cases, scammers use a person's address to receive merchandise and then steal it from the porch before the resident can retrieve it. What to do if a mystery package arrives on your doorstep. If you receive an unsolicited package, you can keep or discard of it, but you aren't responsible for paying for it. If the package is unopened and has a return address, you can write return to sender on it, and the USPS will return it at no cost. If you've opened the package and do not want the item, you can dispose of it. The USPS recommends changing your account passwords and monitoring your credit reports and credit card bills, as your information may have been compromised. You should also notify the retailers such as Amazon or eBay to report the incident and ask them to remove any fraudulent reviews posted in your name. If a package contains organic materials like seeds, an unknown liquid, or a suspicious substance, you should notify the proper authorities. Okay, especially with like Christmas coming up and the holidays and everything, there's going to be packages all over the place, and you may have ordered packages. Sometimes you forget you've ordered packages and you're like, oh, what's this? And you open it and you're like, oh, I must have forgot I ordered this, and you're scanning QR codes. Just be very, 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 very aware and leery of any packages you did not order. If you get it, check your credit scores, all that stuff. And then again, if it is something like that, notify the proper authorities or like Amazon or wherever it came from. Okay, I gotta go to work. It's a new school. Okay, have a good day. Change your passwords. I'm gonna look into, like I said, a couple of people said that they don't use a VPN. I don't know. I feel safer with it, but I'll be looking into that too. So, yeah, we'll just do this together then. Okay? Okay. Change your passwords. Check all your credit scores. Check your credit scores. Make sure your bank accounts, that there's not anything taken out that you didn't take out. Okay, time for work. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.